Welcome to Michigan in Focus, powered by thecentersquare.com. This episode features a piece by Center Square Michigan reporter Scott McClellan. Headline, quote, Ford right-sizing Marshall EV plant, slashing 800 jobs, end quote. Here's the story. Ford Motor Company will slash 800 jobs from its planned electric vehicle plant in Marshall, subsidized by more than $1.7 billion of taxpayer money. Ford said it is, quote, retiming and resizing the BlueOval Battery Park Michigan in Marshall, end quote. The news brought bipartisan criticism from Michigan lawmakers. Ford originally announced the plant as worth $3.5 billion and estimated it would employ 2,500 workers. Ford said, quote, we are pleased to confirm we are moving ahead with the Marshall project consistent with the Ford Plus plan for growth and value creation. However, we are right-sizing as we balance investment growth and profitability. The facility will now create more than 1,700 good-paying American jobs to produce a planned capacity of approximately 20 GWh, end quote. Ford says it plans to produce lithium iron phosphate batteries at the plant starting in 2026. Otai McKinley, Media and Communications Manager at the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, told the Center Square in an email, quote, state support for this project will be reduced and adjusted based on the final scope of the project, end quote. House Republican leader Matt Hall, a Republican from Richland Township, called on the state to shrink the $1.8 billion subsidy after Ford cut job projections from 2,500 to 1,700. Hall said in a statement, quote, the bad deal the governor and Democrats negotiated for Michigan taxpayers just got a whole lot worse. Even with Democrats' premature push for electric vehicles and $1.8 billion in state incentives, Ford is cutting back the project and slashing job creation because most people just won't buy unaffordable, inconvenient EVs, end quote. Hall called the deal a quote-unquote disaster from the start after the 32% job cut and called for the subsidy to be revoked. Representative Dylan Wegela, a Democrat from Garden City, said he was, quote, disappointed but not surprised, unquote, by the news. Wegela said in a phone interview, quote, it should be no surprise to anyone. We continue to give these corporations tax breaks and subsidies, and then they cut jobs, end quote. Wegela said that trickle-down economics doesn't work. He said Michiganders, quote, don't want their tax dollars going to multi-billion-dollar corporations, and that shouldn't be a controversial thing, unquote. The $210 million awarded to Ford from the Critical Industry Program could be canceled if the proposal contained any material misrepresentation, and clawback provisions could reduce the CIP funds in any case due to the job reduction. Ford announced the prospective job cuts Tuesday after a months-long pause on the project. The company said it was right-sizing the plant given lower than expected market demand for electric vehicles. As originally announced, the factory would have cost more than $700,000 per job created. Now that number would be more than $1 million per job. This podcast was made with the assistance of AI technology. Please subscribe and thanks for listening.